In just 15 years, China built more high-speed rail than the rest of the planet combined. 40,000 kilometers of track, laid across mountains, deserts, and flood-prone river deltas. Trains that hit 350 kilometers per hour, connecting cities that used to take days to reach. But here's the question almost nobody asks. How did a developing nation outbuild Japan, France, and Germany in a single generation? The answer isn't just money. It's a story of political will, staggering debt, and engineering decisions that shocked the world. In the early 2000s, China's rail system was aging, overcrowded, and dangerously slow. Migrant workers packed into trains for 30-hour journeys just to get home for a single holiday. The government needed a fix, and they needed it fast. So in 2004, Beijing approved a plan that seemed almost impossible. Build a national high-speed network from nearly nothing in record time. At first, engineers imported technology from Japan, Germany, and France. They studied bullet trains, signed licensing deals, and promised to build only for domestic use. That promise didn't last long. Within a few years, Chinese engineers had reverse-engineered the technology into their own designs. Foreign partners were furious, but the trains kept multiplying anyway. Then came the real test: geography itself. China's landscape includes some of the most unstable ground on Earth. Engineers had to cross the Gobi Desert, tunnel through the Qinling Mountains, and bridge the floodplains of the Yangtze. One route alone required over 500 bridges and tunnels combined. Construction crews worked through extreme heat, freezing winters, and seismic fault lines. Costs ballooned into the hundreds of billions of dollars. Critics called it reckless, a vanity project built on debt nobody could repay. Local governments took on massive loans, betting entire regional economies on ridership that hadn't arrived yet. Then, in 2011, disaster struck. 2 bullet trains collided near Wenzhou, killing 40 people and injuring nearly 200 others. Investigators uncovered signal failures, rushed construction, and officials more focused on speed than safety. For a moment, the entire program looked like it might collapse under public outrage. Construction slowed, safety officials were fired, and the world waited to see what China would do next. Nobody expected what happened next. Instead of retreating, China doubled down, rebuilding its safety systems from the ground up. Engineers redesigned signaling networks, tightened inspection standards, and resumed construction within a year. What looked like the end became the moment the network proved its resilience. By the mid-2000s, cities once considered remote were suddenly 2 hours from Beijing or Shanghai. Property values shifted, factories relocated, and entire regional economies were reshaped overnight. But investigators later discovered something shocking about the true cost of this expansion. China's rail operator was sitting on debt exceeding $800 billion, some of the largest corporate debt on Earth. Many rural lines were losing money every single day they operated. Officials defended the losses, insisting connectivity itself was worth more than short-term profit. The truth was far more complicated than simple economics. This wasn't just a railway system, it was a tool of national unification and political control. Remote provinces, once isolated for generations, were suddenly stitched into the national economy. Migrant workers who once spent days traveling home could now do it in hours. For millions of families, the network didn't just save time, it changed how they lived. Meanwhile, the technology itself became a geopolitical weapon. China began exporting high-speed rail systems to Indonesia, Laos, and beyond, competing directly with Japan and Europe. What started as a domestic fix became a global export of Chinese engineering power. Today, China's network carries over 2 billion passengers every year. That number keeps climbing, even as debt concerns and empty rural stations linger in the background. So was it a triumph or a warning? Perhaps it was both at once. A masterpiece of engineering built on a foundation of enormous risk. China didn't just build railways, it built the fastest transformation of a nation's geography in modern history. And somewhere in that trade-off between debt and destiny, the real story of the 21st century begins.